like detainee 727, like another detainee, Algerian detainee. There are many who've lost parts of their legs were amputated. He needed an operation for his leg, and they amputated their leg because the doctors used to say to people who were in prison there that our job is not to help you, it's not to give you any cure. If you have any pain, any wounds, the most we can do for you is to amputate your leg, amputate your hand, amputate. There is no cure. We can give you painkillers if you want, we can give you drugs if you want, and they give people drugs, and some people became addicted to those drugs, and then used and subjected to interrogation. They say if you want more drugs, speak to your interrogator and things like that. The doctors worked close hand in hand with interrogators. The doctors in Guantanamo Bay left their mission and message, which is a message of mercy, to work with interrogators into subjecting people to torture and using their profession to cause more harm and pain to detainees. And if you needed any help, they'll say to you, ask your interrogators, and we can only help you then if you cooperate, as they call it, with your interrogators. You could lose, as I say, limbs like Imran al-Taifi, like Abu Abdurrahman al-Masri. You could lose hands or eyes, like you could be subjected to deprivation of sleep. You can be drowned by water, or be used. Water drowning is used against you, so you would stop resisting, as they call it. Or psychiatric torture that are more worse than the physical torture. The psychiatric torture that was used in Guantanamo Bay will last with many those who were in prison there for their lives. The way they used them, how they used the letters, family letters, how they used many things, sexual abuse, racism, hunger, nudity, people were forced to be nude, overflow of toilets. Sometimes you're in a cell, an overflow of toilets, you have to live with the overflow of toilets, floodlights for 24 hours for 6 years. If you imagine a small cell with floodlights and you have to live inside that day and night within that glaring lights for 6 years, sometimes some of the people who are there now for 7 years. This is the 7th year. It means personal search twice every day, harassment, possibility every day of 5 guards coming into your cell and beating you up, maybe breaking your nose, ribs and fingers and arms, as they have done to myself. Worms in your food. Your words that you say in interrogation are twisted against you and used against you. There are no laws, a land of no laws, where the laws are the whims of interrogators and guards, simple guards, not even officers, ranking officers. Endless new rules that make no sense other than intimidate and humiliate people in prison there. Attacks on your religion and your beliefs, dragged again and again for one session after another to be interrogated in darkness, in night, in day. You don't know whenever they knock on your doors and you tell you to get ready for interrogation. You're dragged to be interrogated by different sorts of all sorts of agencies, the CIA, the FBI, the SEDE, the intelligence, the military intelligence, the MI5, the MI6, the French interrogated us there, the Spanish interrogated some people there, the Italian interrogated people there, the Libyans interrogated people there, the Moroccans, the Tunisians, the Italian, everyone made use of Guantanamo Bay. Fraud and embezzlement went on. Every time a patch of guard recognizes that these people are human beings, and what they were told about them, they were the people who committed September 11, just when they realize that all this is false and untrue, because they come to speak to many detainees, they are moved, and another new patch of guards are brought in. Embezzlement and fraud. Dick Cheney's company in Guantanamo Bay, Chris will tell you, from the other side of the barbed wire, has been working there again and again. 60 million for just one prison, Camp 5, which is block of concrete. There's nothing other than block of concrete. And another other ventures and other ventures. Since the Guantanamo Bay was opened, they never, Halliburton, a company of Dick Cheney, has never left that place. Some of the things that come to us come from Houston, Texas, the food. Obviously, you might, you would be recognizable who does that. Subjected to humiliation, photographed, stand to the wall, fingers stamped, anonized, exposed to all forms of humiliation and cruelty, reduced to a number, chained to the ground, chained sometimes in a stressed position, hanged sometimes from your hands, chained, subjected to all sorts of humiliation and degradation. All you say, even your whispers, are listened to. There are listening devices, sound devices are listened to, and everything you say is listened to. Dirt in the food, in the water, and so on. This brings me to the last point which I wanted to mention, which is that I promised the detainees there when I left that I will mention them every time I stand in person and speak about Guantanamo Bay, to bring attention to what is happening to them. Detainees there now in Guantanamo Bay today, as we speak, are in hunger strike. And this is maybe the 4th or 5th hunger strike. Most of them are under hunger strike, and most of them are in very bad critical conditions. Umar Binyam Muhammad himself is, they said, he might, if he was ever released, like Moazzam said, he might be released in coffins because of his really, really serious condition. Lately, the military lawyer has seen him, and she says that his condition is very, very bad. He's only bones and skin. And many, many people are under hunger strike. And when we hunger strike, some people there have been hunger striking now more than 1 to 2 years, and they were force-fed. Force-fed, if you imagine, is a tube pushed to your nose, going down to the throat, going down to the stomach, and then, you know, then some kind of liquid is put to your stomach, and this is done to you twice. And you can imagine the pain. Done without using any anesthetics, because they want them to stop the hunger strike, and the doctors use the hunger strike to torture people. And they pull it out, they pull the tube out so hardly, it comes out with blood and pus, and then they put it again, they put it in, down to another detainee's stomach, without even cleaning it. And this is the doctors who did that, not no one else, not the detainees, not the interrogators, not the guards, these are the doctors. That's why when Dr. David Nichols in Birmingham and another man, a lawyer, Sullivan, pressurized them and spoke about this, this was a little bit reduced. Binyam Muhammad is a very nice young man, I know, a humorous young man, spirited, very good spirit. He used to help others in Guantanamo Bay to lift their spirits. But now he is, as I say, in critical condition. He is presently on hunger strike, like many, many others are, and remains in solitary confinement. His mental and physical condition is of great concern. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you do continue to campaign to release all other prisoners.
There's something that I really need to say. You may not have picked it up, but Omar actually said, like the instance of Detainee 727, whose eye was poked out so that he couldn't see anymore. Omar is Detainee 727. Before we start, I just want to introduce Chris to you. Chris is, his name is Christopher Arendt. He is now 24 and a half and 3/4. And he served in Guantanamo Bay as a soldier in 2004 at the age of 19, and he joined the Army and National Guard Reserves at the age of 17. And he began this tour with me officially on January the 11th in London, where we had our first discussion together, and this is the last date of our tour. Chris.
It's finally over.
Right, you've got to somehow look at me while we're doing this.
I know, this is the smallest table ever, though. Wait, no. Sit down.
Chris, we've been doing this tour all of this time. You've been speaking about your experiences, sometimes in conversation with me, sometimes just talking to people. We've gone to Edinburgh,